is electricity, because this is a fight between two men that you consider to be the strongest men in the world and the people who are the paragons of strength and athleticism.
Coming April 22nd.
We're in for a war. Michael Moore is a warrior, and Evander Holyfield is a warrior.
Holyfield versus Moore.
I truly believe a warrior is a person that can, well, you know, just ready to war at any given time. I do have the guts to go out and go against the odds. You know, that's something that was instilled by my mother. Anything you do your best.
He's a boxer. I'm a fighter. A good fighter always beat a good boxer. That's what my grandfather always told me.
Michael Moore is probably the hardest punching heavyweight to come along since Mike Tyson.
Tremendous puncher, the best puncher in boxing's heavyweight division right now.
Two boxing giants will clash on April 22nd at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas to decide the heavyweight championship of the world. Evander Holyfield, the reigning champion, the consummate gentleman, the man so full of heart, courage, and warrior instincts. The fighter who, 1 year after losing his crown to Riddick Bowe, won it back again in one of sport's most remarkable comebacks.
Holyfield gunning for a stoppage here. It would shock the world.
He proved to himself, he proved to the world that he can go back and regain a championship. Unfortunately, April 22nd, I'll probably put him in retirement.
Holyfield will face Michael Moore, the undefeated challenger, the possessor of boxing's most feared punch.
And Moore, hold over again. Oh, Cooper. How was he able to stand?
There's a touch of evil in Michael Moore. I don't know if evil or bad or just unconventionality.
It's going to be a force, brother, and I mean it.
Whatever might happen before April 22nd, it really don't make a difference. I'm saying who got the best line, who have what they say don't really mean anything.
This fight can go at any time. It's one of those it's what people love about heavyweight boxing.
So we're looking for some explosions here. I really think that this is going to be one hell of a heavyweight fight. This is going to be what a heavyweight fight should be.
Holyfield versus Moore, coming April 22nd.
You've seen the courage of heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield.
Holyfield gunning for a stoppage here.
Now meet his next challenger, Michael Moore.
They say I'm wild.
And Moore scores twice with the uppercut, and Stewart is down again.
They say I'm mean and arrogant.
Oh, down he goes.
I say they're right. Boxing's a tough business.
Holyfield versus Moore from Caesars Palace, April 22nd, live on pay-per-view. Call now to order.
Evander Holyfield, the man, they don't make him any better.
Evander Holyfield, when he gets into the ring, as nice a guy and as moral a guy and a family guy is outside the ring, in the ring, he believes the championship belt is his, and he's going to fight to the end before anybody takes it from him.
I think it takes someone real special to beat Holyfield, at least in the heart department, because he's going to bring so much to it.
Oh, what a sensational right cross Holyfield landed to start this rally.
But you know, a lot of heart is, you know, what God gives us, meaning that you know, that's no quit in you.
Courageous is probably a picture in a dictionary under that word, and it's Evander Holyfield's picture. Here's a guy when he fought Riddick Bowe in the 10th round, any other human being would have quit. Any other human being would have gone down. He not only stood upright, he came back and almost had Riddick Bowe out.
Look at Holyfield. What a warrior. Reversing the tide of the battle. The champion now has Bowe wobbly.
He goes in against guys that are 50 pounds heavier than him, 60 pounds heavier than him, younger than him, and he has no fear. He believes in himself.
A warrior is, to me, is an individual that takes a chance on being a winner. If you don't have a warrior heart, I don't think you'll ever be successful in anything.
Very fine gentleman, something that we should be using as a role model. instead of all of these other athletes that we have out here.
I truly believe a gentleman is a person that truly respects other people as he want to be respected.
He's a good family man, has a lot of values, a lot of principles, and it's not like a lot of guys. You see him appear one way on TV. He is the same as you see on TV in his private life.
He's very polite to people. Outside the ring, he recognizes and has a notion of what it means to be the heavyweight champion of the world. He feels an obligation to live up to the standards of what a heavyweight champion is supposed to be.
Michael Moore, the man, that's a whole different chapter. You have to talk to him about that.
I'm getting a mixed picture on Michael Moore. Yes, he's got an attitude.
Quit being a bitch and take the defeat.
Michael Moore can be nasty. He can be mean. He can. He's a very emotional guy, and he walks it like he talks it.
He's had more fights, I think, with the constabulary in his county in Pennsylvania than he's had in the ring.
He has a great record in the ring and a not so great record outside the ring. He's had some brushes with the law. They're well documented.
The people, all they know me for is I supposedly hit a police officer. I got in a ruckus in Detroit. That's all they know me for. I can be very mean. They have to deal with it or don't be around me.
I want him to be mean. I hope he is mean. Part of being mean is being sure of yourself. Because you gotta be mean consistently.
If I don't get along with you and I don't like you, the hell with you. I go in there and take care of my business. I do what I have to do. Power comes, it's here.
Very powerful. Not just as a puncher, physically, just very strong. Daddy reminds me more of Tyson.
Michael Moore is more than competitive. He's dangerous. Evander Holyfield, if he's not perfect for this fight, is going to end up losing the title.
Michael Moore and Evander Holyfield, two ring warriors who are going into this fight with contrasting approaches.
When hammer and nails hit, it's going to be a force, brother, and I mean it. I can deal with all the hype. I can deal with anything. You know, you can call me names or whatever, but don't disrespect me by putting your hands on me or, you know, talking about my family or things like that. That's a wrong move. I'd probably end up in jail or something.
And I'm glad that I'm not a pony. I'm sure just because he smashed that pony, they probably got so many people to say, hey, that guy for real. Might just have to be one of the guys that feel that you get from the start, he had to let people know that I'm here to win. I'm just not here just to fight. Yeah, anybody can hit hard if you stand there and let them hit you. I'm not going to be standing there. That's the reason. This whole thing is that I'm glad I'm not a pony, meaning that, you know, I'm not going to be that. It won't be that easy to break me as you break a opponent that it's not going to hit back.
Michael Moore, the in-your-face intimidator. Evander Holyfield, the unflappable champion who prefers to let his performance in the ring speak for itself. They'll square off at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas on April 22nd.
Evander Holyfield, the warrior.
Right hand by Holyfield inside, back.
Michael Moore, the destroyer. The champion, courageous. The challenger, nasty. Holyfield versus Moore, will versus power. From Caesars Palace, April 22nd, live on pay-per-view. Call now to order.
I think Evander's probably going to come out and probably try to mix it up at first just to see what type of power I possess.
Chances are, Evander Holyfield already knows what kind of power Michael Moore possesses. Most experts rate Moore the hardest puncher since Mike Tyson. What's unclear is which Michael Moore will show up on April 22nd, the aggressive slugger or the tentative boxer. Early in his career, while fighting out of Detroit's famous Kronk Gym with Emmanuel Stewart as his trainer, Michael Moore was strictly a knockout fighter, winning his first 26 bouts by KO.
Well, Emmanuel likes punchers. I was a puncher. And he'd pick the right opponents for me to go in there and fight. That's going to be right there for me because he likes action and the puncher style, and that's what I was.
Recently, however, under trainers Lou Duva, George Benton, and now Teddy Atlas, Moore has employed a passive approach with less than electrifying results.
When Michael Moore is in a fight where a guy boxes or a guy does not clutch the action and does not force the issue, Michael Moore waits for things to happen sometimes.
Well, I think two things have happened with Michael Moore. One, he's trying to tighten up his defense. And he's also fought guys who have, unfortunately, not been willing to mix it up. So Moore has learned a lot fighting those guys, but he hasn't looked real spectacular doing it. Part his fault, his doing, trying to work on his defense, and a lot the opponent's fault who weren't willing to mix it up.
While Michael Moore is a natural slugger, often tempted to sit back and box, Evander Holyfield is the opposite. He's a gifted boxing technician who often succumbs to the lure of a toe-to-toe slugfest.
Remember what Evander did in that first Bowe fight. He wanted a knockout, so he didn't fight his fight. Maybe this puts him in jeopardy again.
In his first fight against Riddick Bowe, Holyfield fell into the trap of trying to outpunch the much bigger Bowe. While he won over fans with his courage, he didn't rack up many points with the judges. And in their rematch, Evander was tempted to slug it out with Bowe once again.
The second fight, he started hitting me on the break, and it kind of ticked me off, and to the point where I said, well, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to knock you out. And I went toe-to-toe and toe-to-toe, and you know, the corner told me, said, no, you need to stick to box.
I think Evander's going to be more of the flashier, busier type fighter, but he's going to have to always be aware of the big bombs that Michael has that can knock him out at any point in time. And if Michael spends too much time on defense, Evander, with his fast hands, may end up catching him and getting him in trouble.
Complicating things for Holyfield is the right-handed Moorer's fighting stance as a southpaw.
It's the first time an American southpaw has fought for the heavyweight championship. They're that rare amongst heavyweight fighters.
Evander has had one pro fight out of his 30 with a southpaw. And it's coming from another angle, the jab, so it makes the jab more effective in a different sort of a way. It's coming from an uncomfortable position and unnatural position.
In boxing a southpaw, I think, first of all, particularly in Michael's case, being he's such a big puncher, you have to move a lot, and whenever you see Michael getting ready to punch, in this case, you need to move to your right, which means moving away from the southpaw's left hand.
The key is you do what you do good anyway. Don't hesitate, just be like that. Even though it look awkward, just keep doing it. Then you'll mess him up. He can't hit you because you hit him.
First of all, he's going to have to negate his being left-handed, so he's going to have to use his right hand a lot more. And to use his right hand, because it's further away, he's going to have to get closer. Secondarily, he knows that Michael Moore has already been hit by several fighters, not the least of which was Burt Cooper, Alex Stewart, etc., etc. He's going to try to get in there and do some damage. You know, everybody wants a knockout.
The man is 30 years old. How are you going to increase somebody's punching power at that age? Or how are you going to increase it, period, if you're not a puncher?
The whole thing is not let him hit you, and then people that hit hard, power punches, impatient, they'll run into a punch because of the fact that they want something to happen real quick where they can get out of there.
Foolish. I'm a puncher. I'll smash him April 22nd.
On April 22nd, all the planning and all the strategy and all the hype go out the window. The only thing that'll matter then is what each man brings to the ring.
You've seen the courage of heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield.
Holyfield gunning for a stoppage here.
Now meet his next challenger, Michael Moore.
They say I'm wild.
And Moore scored twice with the uppercut, and Stewart is down again.
They say I'm mean and arrogant. I say they're right. Boxing's a tough business.
Holyfield versus Moore from Caesars Palace, April 22nd, live on pay-per-view. Call now to order. Evander Holyfield, the Warrior.
Right hand by Holyfield inside, knocks Bowe back.
Michael Moore, the Destroyer.
Stewart is down again.
The champion, courageous. The challenger, nasty. Holyfield versus Moore, will versus power.
Sunday Conversation is brought to you by Sprint.
This Friday night, Evander Holyfield doesn't expect Michael Moore to present the same challenge Riddick Bowe did last November. But the 31-year-old champ knows that if he's going to get an opportunity to unify the heavyweight title against Lennox Lewis, he must first put away the 26-year-old challenger this Friday. Evander Holyfield sat down with Charlie Steiner for a Sunday conversation, touching on what could have been had he faced Mike Tyson and what can still be.
The winner by majority decision, and once again, heavyweight champion of the world from Atlanta, Georgia, Evander Holyfield.
What do you see down the road for you? How much more of this are you gonna go through?
Long-term goal, I like to fight to 1996. I guess in the short-term goal, I like to take each victory as a victory.
Why 96? What is the magical year about 96?
Well, 1996 is a very significant year for Atlanta. You know, the Olympics coming there, and when people arrive to Atlanta, Georgia, I just feel that it would just be an honor that they come into the home of the heavyweight champion of the world.
1996 would give ample time for the fight that to this point has not happened. Tyson and Holyfield, Holyfield and Tyson. Is that something you think about?
Well, I've thought about it, because it's something that people won't never let me forget. And it's not so much people say it with a little anger now. People say it now to a point where that, you know, you proving that, yeah, you are a champion too. You know, I remember a time when I first won the championship, they said, you're not the champion until you fight Tyson. I think after both fight, you know, people come to a point, yeah, you're a champion, yes. Well, you know, I sure would like to see you fight Mike Tyson.
I haven't seen you this animated about a possible opponent in all the years I've known you. This is really intriguing to you, isn't it?
If he come out and do well, the whole thing is that it's like Ali coming out of jail and fighting Joe Frazier when he first came, because he got because he got a chance to tune up, and everybody said, he back, he sharp, this. And it made it all worthwhile.
Holyfield, Tyson. Nice ring to it.
Well, yeah, I always did.
What about Bowe?
Well, you know, I thought about that too. You know, that man deserved another chance. You know, that man, you know, he did great that first fight, and, you know, second fight, I did a lot better. And, you know, in the third fight, there's no telling. You know, I like Bowe in a way. And to like somebody and just fight them just because you like him, because you think you need an opportunity. But that's kind of like my nature. I kind of like if that Lennox Lewis fight don't come about, you know, and things work properly, you know, the chances are that he could possibly be the next opponent.
The night that you lost your title, you left the press conference, I guess to go to the hospital, to be checked out.
Thank you very much.
And as you were leaving, you noticed Dan Duva remained at the podium. Your whole perspective on the business of boxing changed that night. Is that fair to say?
Yes, because, you know, we as athletes, we come in trusting, and we look at it as a personal relationship more so than a business relationship. And a lot of time when people are dealing with athletes, they want us to treat them personally, they treat us business, meaning that business is all about money. Personally, meaning that you do person favor. Yeah, you be with somebody because you like him, because like that. And when that happens, it hurts. You feel like you've been betrayed. It's almost like, you know, it's another man and the money still flows for him. And, you know, it kind of gave me a sour taste in my mouth, because I wasn't looking at him as a promoter. I was looking at him part of the Holyfield team.
Is this still an enjoyable way to make a living for you?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It's so enjoyable. Sometimes it's strange because I have to often pray and ask, you know, is this an ego thing? Is this is something that I really need to continue to do because the money is good, the fame is good. I look at it like this, and I would hope that everybody would look at it as just as, a relationship. You start off the first day, you're not in love, so you might be infatuated with it, but more time you put in, you find yourself in love with it. There's happy moments, there's sad moments. And sometimes, after athlete being in something that you're very good, it's almost like going through a divorce, getting out of it, because you really don't want to give it up.
Sunday Conversation was brought to you by Sprint. We've got everything you need, local, long distance, and cellular, to let you be there now.
Robin and Linda, just another April's day in the desert. Temperatures in the mid-90s, 3 days until what has evolved into a twice-yearly event, the Heavyweight Championship of the World. For the challenger, undefeated Michael Moore, this is the first time he's been through anything like this. This is his first shot for the heavyweight title. For the champion, Evander Holyfield, the 7th time he will be fighting with the title at stake. So for Holyfield, he's been down this road before. Holyfield canceled his morning workout today, opting instead to talk with a group of young men who have had their run-ins with the law. The heavyweight champion of the world seemed to enjoy answering questions from the kids a lot more than he does from the media.
How many fights I've lost? I lost one in professional, but in amateur I lost plenty. But what you have to understand is that, it's not like I lost. I had a setback. I didn't quit. I just kept on, then eventually I became better than all the people that did defeat me.
The only time Holyfield stepped into the ring today was to pose for pictures with the boys from the Spring Mountain Youth Camp. Holyfield did manage to run a few miles this morning under a relentlessly hot desert sun. Holyfield is now through sparring. Now it's just a matter of occupying his time and his mind before the Friday night fight. He even managed to get some fishing in. The event of the day, such that it was the final pre-fight news conference with champion and challenger. Nothing terribly profound or prophetic was uttered. Only the marketing of Michael Moore, the bad guy. This is a persona that Moore clearly could live without and prefers not to read about.
I don't sit there and read them because I know it's a bunch of criticism because they, like in boxing, they want to make me out to be the bad boy. So I don't even entertain it.
Does it bother you that you are considered the bad boy?
Not at all. It sells tickets.
Well, they still have upwards of 2,000 tickets to sell before Friday night's heavyweight championship becomes a sellout. A little bit later on this one-hour edition of SportsCenter, a profile of Michael Moore, the undefeated challenger. For now, Charlie Steiner, ESPN at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, sending it back to Robin and Linda at SportsCenter.
Tonight in Las Vegas, heavyweight champion night in Las Vegas, heavyweight champion Evander Holyfield will step into the ring against the challenger, Michael Moore.
And you probably are familiar with the champ, but what about the man who wants to take the title from Holyfield? Charlie Steiner introduces us to the challenger, Michael Moore.
Michael Moore didn't feel much like sparring on this sweltering day in Palm Springs 3 weeks ago. That was until his no-nonsense trainer Teddy Atlas had this little heart-to-heart conversation with the challenger for the heavyweight championship of the world. In years past and trainers past, Emmanuel Stewart, George Benton, and Lou Duva, Michael Moore probably would have taken the day off.
I think it's not taking anything away from Emmanuel, George, or Lou. I think it's because I dictated everything. You can't do that with Teddy. Teddy is a man that has a lot of pride within himself, and he's in there to make you the best you possibly can be. And I respect that about him, and Teddy has been pushing and pushing and pushing from day one.
I want to stop punching. I want to step, then stop punching. Almost stepped with him.
38-year-old Teddy Atlas has been training fighters for nearly half his life. He was the protege of the legendary Cus D'Amato, who believed that a lot more than half the battle was inside the fighter's head.
People take the easy, conventional look at it and they say he's lazy. But sometimes it's because a person's not sure of himself and they're looking for an excuse to lose. If they lose.
Atlas laid down the law immediately, recalling the conversation the first time they met last year.
I'm going to expect you to get up in the morning and do road work, which he hadn't done before at a certain hour at 6 o'clock in the morning. And he asked me why, and I said, because you don't want to. And this way, you start to face things that will help you be ready to face things in that night. And you're going to do a certain amount of sparring, and these things are going to be expected of you.
After their no-frills discussion, Michael Moore and his trainer went to work.
Behind the gym so we don't have time you coming in. Go back to the body and then back upstairs. That's it.
As Atlas discovered early on, the 26-year-old Moore is a tightly wound, fist-fighting contradiction.
He's actually got a very caring, sensitive side to him. And he a lot of times will want you to feel that he's this mean person because it'll help protect him.
I can be an ignorant bastard in a minute. And I don't like being that way because I can be real violent, I can be real destructive, and I don't like that.
Moore has had his fair share of run-ins with the law, but he swears those problems and his quick temper are a thing of the past.
A littlest thing used to piss me off like that. And I'd be destructive and want to tear up shit, and I'm not that way anymore because it was a problem. I said, why increase my blood pressure just to satisfy someone else? I don't do that anymore, you know, because I feel I'm going to kill myself by getting so mad and so angry over the littlest things.
Friday night, Moore will need his trainer as much as Atlas will need his fighter. They are each involved in their first heavyweight championship. From the corner, Atlas will need a peak performance from Moore to validate his status as one of the great trainers in the sport. And Moore will need Atlas and his no-nonsense discipline if he is to become the greatest fighter in the world.
You know, we've turned this into quite an event. The always exciting weigh-in live tomorrow right here on the Early Sports Center beginning at 6:30 Eastern.
Now, welcome back to the 60-minute Sports Center. We're getting a little closer to fight night, and a couple of people who hope to be planning punches on Friday night are in Las Vegas getting ready to check their weights.
And wait no longer. Charlie Steiner joins us live from Caesars Palace for Evander Holyfield and Michael Moore's weigh-in. Charlie?
Robin and Chris, welcome to Caesars Palace here in Las Vegas, roughly 48 hours away from the 203rd heavyweight championship fight this century. Michael Moore, the challenger, is only the third left-hander to challenge for the title. Of course, Evander Holyfield will be defending the title on Friday night. It will be his 7th time fighting for the heavyweight championship. An interesting fact about Evander Holyfield: when he graduated high school, he was 5 feet 7 inches and 144 pounds. That was 70 pounds ago, plus 7 inches. Al Bernstein is standing by down on the podium, and we're ready now for the weigh-in for the heavyweight championship of the world. Al?
Thank you, Charlie. We want to welcome all our ESPN viewers as well as the people here at Caesars Palace to the official weigh-in for the championship match between the champion Evander Holyfield and the #1 contender Michael Moore. Let's get things going now by first weighing the #1 contender in both the WBA and the IBF. He is 34-0 with 30 knockouts, Michael Moore. Michael Moore weighs in at 214 pounds. Next, we will have the heavyweight champion of the world. He is 30-1 with 22 KOs. He holds the WBA and IBF championships, Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield weighs in at the very same 214 pounds. We're here now with the challenger, Michael Moore, who is ranked #1 by 2 of the organizations. You've waited for this opportunity for a while, Michael. Now that it's here, does it feel like you expected it to?
I expected it. I feel that I compiled a record of 34-0, and part of it is in the light heavyweight division, but I proved myself in the heavyweight class.
Your weight indicates you're in superb condition. Was this the best conditioning process you've had as a pro?
Yes, working with Teddy. he worked my ass off in the gym for the past 7.5 weeks, and I'm grateful for it, and hopefully I'll shine come Friday night.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
It's Michael Moore, the #1 contender. Here's Evander Holyfield, the champion. That weight for you, Evander, 214, is among the good weights that you've had as a pro, and seems to be a comfortable weight for you.
It's a great weight. Worked hard, and look forward to the fight April 22nd.
This question's been asked of you about 482,000 times in the last 4 months, but he is the first left-hander trying to get the championship. Does that make any difference to you in terms of style?
Well, no, not at all. They just give people opportunity to see me fight different style, and when people realize that I'm a more complete boxer.
Okay, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Evander Holyfield, lefty, righty, he's ready, and so is Michael Moore. Let's go back up to Charlie.
All right, Al, so for the first time in the 7 times that Evander Holyfield will be fighting for the heavyweight championship, he is not the lighter man. In fact, he is dead even with his opponent, Michael Moore. Both men will be weighing 214 pounds, or so says the tale of the tape. Virtually everything is the same about these guys, with the exception, perhaps, the age difference. Evander Holyfield, of course, 5 years older than Michael Moore. We will be back a little bit later on in this 1-hour edition of SportsCenter. Al Bernstein will be joining me, and we'll try to analyze all these numbers and how it reflects on Friday night's fight. For now, Charlie Steiner here live at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, sending it back to SportsCenter.
Lefties, they have their own organization, shops that make things designed for a lefty in a world that kind of leans to the right and to righties.
Right-handers have also dominated the heavyweight boxing belt, but Michael Moore hopes to change that tomorrow night. Charlie Steiner is in Las Vegas with a look at the Southpaw style in tonight's cover story.
Jack and Mike, another blistering hot day here in the desert. It is 97 degrees as we speak to you now, and tomorrow night when the two fighters enter the ring, the temperature is expected to be in the mid-70s. Add another 20 degrees for the television lights. It will be a hot night in the desert, to be sure. You know, this century, Halley's Comet has blazed across the sky exactly twice, which is exactly how many times a left-hander has challenged for the heavyweight championship of the world. Well, the lefties will take a lead on Halley's Comet tomorrow night. When Michael Moore steps into the ring, he'll be the 3rd left-handed challenger for the heavyweight championship of the world.
You mentioned Southpaw. It was like a dirty word to a fight manager. He wouldn't want to fight the guy.
Holyfield Moore will be the 203rd heavyweight championship fight this century. But Michael Moore is only the 3rd left-handed challenger for the title. The other two, Carl Mildenberger and Richard Dunn, were knocked out by Muhammad Ali. Right-handers are used to fighting right-handers. Taking on a southpaw is like suddenly trying to drive in London on the other side of the street. It just doesn't feel or seem natural. Being a left-hander can be an enormous advantage if the left-hander can get a fight. Marvin Hagler, maybe the greatest left-handed fighter of them all, gave away that advantage when he fought Ray Leonard 7 years ago, and inexplicably, he fought right-handed for a time, and it cost him the middleweight championship of the world.
With Leonard, Marvin was supposed to fight a southpaw, basically southpaw, and he was told during the fight to stay southpaw, but he switched. I would like to have seen him go on stitch southpaw more through the fight, but a fighter does what comes naturally.
Michael Moore will be only the 2nd southpaw Evander Holyfield has faced as a professional. That should be an advantage for the challenger.
We're trying to remind Moore that it is an advantage to us. And I'm trying to remind him that his leftiness should be used. And what I mean by that is he should favor his right side and try to keep his right foot outside Holyfield's left.
Here's a position the southpaw should be in right here, because now it's the reverse of it. You see where he can jab me, or he can take the right hook to the hook. See the left hook, right hook, hit. Now see, now, also, I'm stepping right into a straight left hand, boom, right here in the face. Hit. You see it?
But when you move, you got to move away from this. You got to move over here. Get away from the left hand, or the left hand's a power.
Watch this here. This is the Hagler hook. Okay. Hagler right hook. Slip my jab, hook to the chin. He reached right over and catch me in the temple. Watch. Now see, it's hard to block. Once I let my jab go, see, my temple and my chin's exposed. He'll open up that hook and hit me right in the temple, see it?
Holyfield-Moore may be as much of a chess match as a slugfest. The subtleties of Holyfield's movements in the ring will be even more critical than usual.
He has to be in this position here to nullify that big, dangerous right hook in left hand. If Holyfield's in this position, and he can hook in here, he can throw a right hand here, he can throw a right hand here, and he can be in this position. He can also jab.
2 inches either way, you got the jab. Outside or inside, 2 inches either way, you got the jab. See, you move this way, bang. Or you move this way, bang.
Al Bernstein joins me now. How big an advantage is this for Michael Moore coming into the fight as only the third left-hander in heavyweight championship history?
Well, I think it could be a big advantage for him, and you notice when Teddy Atlas talked in that piece we just saw, he was saying, he keeps reminding Michael that as a lefty you can have an advantage if you use that. A lot of times Michael Moore squares himself up against his right-handed opponents and takes away that advantage which he has naturally, and you get the feeling, Charlie, that Teddy Atlas is wondering, will that advice take with his fighter on fight night?
Conversely, what about Evander Holyfield? How concerned is he and his camp about the southpaw qualities of Michael Moore?
Well, I suspect that it's more of an issue to them than they're letting on. I thought in that piece where Don Turner said, it doesn't matter, 2 inches this way, 2 inches that way. Well, it does matter. 2 inches to the left is where you want to be, and I suspect they're going to tell Evander Holyfield to do just what Goody Petronelli showed us you should do against the lefty, and that is get your foot outside the foot of the southpaw and throw double left hooks and straight right hands. And Holyfield has one of the best double left hooks in the heavyweight division and possibly in boxing.
What we may see tomorrow night is one of the more strategic heavyweight championship fights in recent history. No matter, come back and join us on the late edition of SportsCenter. Al and I will be live for all the post-fight analysis and interviews. For now, for Al Bernstein, Charlie Steiner, ESPN at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, sending it back to SportsCenter.
And hello again, everyone. Welcome to the 1 hour early Sports Center, along with Jack Edwards and Bob Lee. I'm Robin Roberts. It is fight night for the champ Evander Holyfield and the challenger Michael Moore.
It is the first defense of the champion's second title run, and he may fight this one as much with his head as with his fists. Evander Holyfield once tried to trade. Going toe-to-toe with Riddick Bowe probably cost him his heavyweight championship. Will Holyfield exchange bombs with challenger Michael Moore tonight? Holyfield says only if he's getting the best of it. If he isn't, the champ says, he'll get out of there and move. Charlie Steiner told us yesterday that this fight could be fought very carefully. He joins us live from Las Vegas with his impressions on fight night. Charlie?
Jack, first impressions are it is very hot in the desert again today. Temperature is 90 degrees, roughly 7 degrees, in fact, less than it was yesterday. And when the two fighters step into the ring about 4.5 hours from now, we are told the temperature will be in the upper 70s. You add about another 20 degrees for the television lights and the close proximity of 15,000 people. It will be very hot in the desert. Now, as far as the predictions are concerned, roughly 3 out of every 4 reporters here, whether it's radio, television, or newspaper, the reporters seem to be predicting Evander Holyfield, anything from a knockout in the middle rounds to a decision. But there are those who are siding with Michael Moore. We tested out some of the predictions around Las Vegas today.
Young, hungry challenger, undefeated, extremely dangerous, a good puncher against a champion who has won everything there is to win in prize fighting and has made all the money there is to make in prize fighting. It's one of those collisions in which the conditions are right for a potential upset.
And I think it's going to be one of those slam-bang, last man to stand up wins. No decision, and I pick Holyfield.
Moore can punch probably harder than anybody in Holyfield's face, with the exception of Foreman, and the difference is that Moore can punch faster than Foreman could. Big and strong. The only question is, you know, can he handle the pressure? I think that everybody in his camp is worried about that, maybe including the fighter. I say if Moore handles the pressure, he can win the fight.
Moore can punch much harder than Holyfield. If he makes a mistake of standing in the trenches with Moore, we'll have a new heavyweight champion. If he uses his head and his superior boxing ability, he should have no problem beating Moore.
Al Bernstein will be joining me a little bit later in this one-hour edition of SportsCenter. We will offer up our own predictions. If Evander Holyfield is looking ahead, he could be facing a fistful of trouble and a face full of fists. So he better watch out for a young and hungry Michael Moore. Mr. Bernstein and I will be joining you immediately after the fight for our live post-fight coverage, and that'll do it for now. We'll send it back to SportsCenter. Charlie Steiner, ESPN at Caesars Palace.
And we look forward to seeing the tuxedoed Mr. Steiner in our second half hour, breaking down some of the specific strengths and weaknesses of both Holyfield and Moore and how those attributes may affect tonight's outcome. Robin?
Evander Holyfield, the warrior.
Right hand by Holyfield inside, back.
Michael Moore, the destroyer. The champion, courageous. The challenger, nasty. Holyfield versus Moore, will versus power.
Thanks for staying with us, everyone. Evander Holyfield fights for the first time in 1994 later tonight. And for the first time in his career, he puts his title on the line against a lefty.
Trainers refer to boxers either as conventional or as left-handed. Will Michael Moore's southpaw style combined with his punching power make him a champion? Here's Bob Lee with more.
Well, a lot of questions tonight. How many epic fights, how many good fights does Evander Holyfield have left in him? He is hours removed now from his first defense of this, his second go-round as the heavyweight champion of the world. Opponent Michael Moore is younger, hungrier, and left-handed. Holyfield has written epic stories of courage in both of his fights with Riddick Bowe. Charlie Steiner and Al Bernstein are in Las Vegas, where Holyfield tonight will try to persevere as champion. Gentlemen.
Robert, 4 hours until Evander Holyfield and Michael Moore engage in battle in the 203rd heavyweight championship fight of the century. Holyfield remains a 2-to-1 favorite in the bout that will take place in this ring in about 4 hours, and the temperature will be somewhere around 80 degrees and add another 20 with the television lights in the crowd. Al Bernstein, of course, joins us now. A lot has been made of the experience factor going into this fight. Evander Holyfield fighting for the title for the 7th time in his career. For Michael Moore, it's a whole new experience.
Yeah, and it's not just Michael Moore. You know, of the men in that ring, counting Don Turner, who is Evander Holyfield's trainer, and Teddy Atlas, who is training Moore, and of course Moore. Of those 4 men, only Evander Holyfield really understands the full weight of the pressure of a heavyweight championship match like this. Atlas and Turner had been co-corner men in a previous match, and of course a heavyweight championship match, and of course Moore has never seen this before. So Charlie, experience could count for a lot tonight.
Now let's go to the lock and try to open it up with the keys to victory.
All right, let's take a look at the keys to victory as I have outlined them for Evander Holyfield and for Michael Moore, some things that they need to do to get off the dime in this fight. For Evander Holyfield, he's got to use the double left hook as much as possible. That's an important punch for him. For Michael Moore, part of the things that he has to do, I think, is he's got to stay off the ropes in this fight. And he's got to use a good counter right hook. That's an important punch for him. And if he can do that, he'll do well against Evander Holyfield. There you take a look at it. And for Evander Holyfield, he doesn't want to slug early with him, because if he does that with Michael Moore, Moore will get the confidence to land that straight left and the counter right hook.
Quickly, give us a prediction. How do you see the fight going?
Well, for my money, I think it's going to be a fight in which Evander Holyfield's experience will win out at the end. Michael Moore is a terrific fighter, but I see Holyfield winning by a decision or a TKO later in the fight.
I, too, like Evander Holyfield tonight, probably in a knockout or a TKO, 6, 7, 8 rounds, something in that order. No matter, we will be here immediately after the fight in the special 1-hour edition of SportsCenter. Al Bernstein and I will see you then. And that's going to do it for us. Let's switch it back to SportsCenter.
Okay, Charlie, and remember, of course, tonight, SportsCenter and baseball tonight with round-by-round updates of that fight.